Hello everyone, welcome back to the new video. So in this video we are going to add this color selection dialog to our app. If you are finding the content valuable, please drop a like on the videos. It really helps me stay motivated to keep bringing you more. So let's get started. And here for these two color pickers, we will use a library. This color picker compose, and this library is available for Kotlin multiplatform. We need to add this dependency in our project, then we can use this library, and I have already added it. Let's go to this file libs.version file. Here this is the dependency and I am using this version, and you need to add this in your module level Gradle file. Then sync the project and close this file. That color selection dialog will be specific to that whiteboard screen. So in the whiteboard package, here in the component package, let's create one file with the name color selection dialog. And to this dialog, we will provide this is open value. This will be of type boolean, and next this on color selected, and we will pass the color user has selected, and then this on dismiss when user will dismiss this dialog. And for this dialog, we will use alert dialog, which comes with the material 3 library. And this alert dialog let's wrap inside the if block. If the is open value is true, then only we need to show this dialog. And first let's attach the modifier. And next thing we have this on dismiss request parameter. And this will be trigger whenever user will try to dismiss this dialog by pressing outside the dialog. So here we will just call our on dismiss parameter, and next we have parameters with the name title and text and this confirm button and this dismiss button. So this title will be the heading and this text will be the body of that dialog, and these two will be the buttons. And first let's provide the title. For now just use a text with selected color, and for this body let's just use blank parenthesis, and this confirm button will be simply a text button. And the text of this button will be simply select, and copy it and use the same text button for this dismiss button, but the text will be this close, and put this dismiss button first. And on this dismiss button we can simply attach our on dismiss request. Whenever user will click this close button, then we will dismiss our dialog. Now first let's see the preview of this, how it is looking. So go to the Android package and this preview file and create a new preview function. And we need to provide this is open value to true, and on color selected blank parenthesis, and this on dismiss, and comment out the preview annotation of this first function, so we will only see the preview of second function, and open our preview. And here is our preview of our dialog. Now we will add things one by one. And here in the dialog header, first we will keep this text and then a box where we will use the color user has selected. So let's take a box and give a fixed size of 40 dp. And then we need to use this background modifier, and we need to provide this color, and next thing this shape, and the shape we will give some rounded shape, and this color for now just use blue. And these two things will be placed side by side, so here let's use a row layout and put these things here, and this row should take fill max width. And next thing, this vertical alignment, these two things needs to be aligned center vertically. And horizontal arrangement, we need to use space between, and with this space between, both these things will be placed on the different sides of the row. Now let's again see the preview, and here is our dialog. This will be our header. Next, let's use a color picker in between this dialog. And one more thing, let's also update the name of this file by pressing Shift F6, and this I needs to be small. And after this header, we have this text, and in this text parameter, we can provide the body of this dialog. And in this body, first we will use this HSV color picker. So this color picker comes with that library we just added. And here first we need to give the size, and size we need to give dynamically. So fill max width, and height we will provide with the help of this aspect ratio, and let's use 1f. So whatever will be the width, height will be the same. And next we have this padding, and padding we need 20 dp all around this picker. And after this we need to provide this controller, and so for this controller, first minimize these imports and create controller for this dialog. And we can use this remember color picker controller, and we can provide this controller here. Now again see the preview, and somehow this is not showing the preview of the picker. So again we need to rebuild the project, and here is the preview, and we have a circular color picker. And after this, let's also use a brightness picker. So if we select any color, then we can also select the different shades of that color. So for that, after this, let's use brightness slider, and this brightness slider also comes with that library. And here again we need to provide this controller and this size. Copy this code and use it here, and we don't need padding here, and the height we will give 30 dp, and the width will be fill max width. Next, let's also use an outline text field. This outline text field is for the use if user wants to pick any color using the hex code of that color. And for now, let's just provide this value to blank, and next thing, this on value change, again these blank parentheses. Next, also use label, and the label of this text field will be enter hex color code. And to this text field, let's use this prefix, and for every time we will add this hash code, so user don't have to fill this. And next thing, this single line to true, and put all these three things in a column layout. And to this column, first thing, this horizontal alignment, and let's use alignment dot center horizontally, and this modifier with vertical scroll. So if user's screen is small, then user can also scroll this body. So we just need to use this vertical scroll modifier, and we need to provide the state. So let's just use remember scroll state, and this will be the body of our dialog. Now again see the preview. So this will be our dialog, and it is looking pretty good. Now we need to give the functionality. to this dialog. And let's go back to our dialog. And first thing, here when user will click on this confirm button, and we have placed a text button to this. And here first thing we need to do is we need to call our on color selected and pass our color user has selected. So we can get the color from our controller we just created for these color picker dialogs. From this controller we can get this selected color and use this value. And this is how we will pass the color whatever user has selected. And we will also call our on dismiss. So whenever user will select the color, we also need to dismiss the dialog. Now next thing, this outline text field needs to show the hex code of whatever color it is selected right now. So whenever dialog will open, initially the white color will be selected. And for that color, let's create a state where we will keep this hex code. Whatever will be the selected color, we need to show the hex code of that in our text field. So right now this hex input is of type color, and here we need to create one extension function that converts the color to the hex value of type string. And for that let's scroll down and here create one private function on this color value and name it to color hex string. And we will take string and we have this format function on that string, and we need to provide format. And here let's provide two colors. First one this white and this dot to ARGB. Whatever color we have, we will convert that color to the integer value. This code I got from the Stack Overflow answer. This one. Here scroll down and here is the code. And use this function here. And now our hex input is of type string and use that hex string here. And whenever user will pick any other color, we also need to update this hex input. And here we have this on color change. And on this on color change, we get the color envelope. And we need to update our hex input with this color envelope dot color to color hex string. And this hex input needs to be where. So when user will pick any other different color, we will also update our hex input. And this hex input we also need to update whenever user will enter any value to this text field. And we get the input value and we need to update our hex input to whatever input value we have. Now first let's see the dialog we have right now and go to the whiteboard screen and scroll down and use our color selection dialog. And we need to provide this is open value and this on color selected and this on dismiss. For now just create local state with is dialog open and use this state here. And when user will dismiss the dialog, then we need to update this state again to false. And for this dialog to open, let's just attach for now in our else branch of that UI tab on this undo button click is dialog open to true and run our app. And open any whiteboard, click on this undo button and we have this dialog. And this body here we can scroll it up and down. and we need to update few things. First thing, this dialog is little bit large, so we need to scope this dialog to a particular width. So for that, let's just minimize this, and this also go back to our color selection dialog, and this on alert dialog. Here on this modifier, we have this modifier with the name width in, and we can provide the maximum width. So let's use 350 dp. This dialog can maximum stretch its width to 350 dp. And then we have a descent dialog on the desktop application. And next thing, when we scroll down here in between of this brightness slider and this text field, let's give some space. So here let's scroll down and use a spacer. And now let's select some color. Whenever I select any different color, the hex value of that color code also change with that color in our text field. We can see here, and we can select any other colors also. And what we need, whenever we select any different color, this selected color box in the top should also take that color. So let's scroll up, and to this box, instead of giving this hard coded color, we need to use the color whatever is the selected color. So copy this code and use it here. And user can also input any color. Suppose if I input any color, right now I have input the hex color code of that white color. Whenever user input the right hex color code, this dialog should also pick that color. So for that, what we need is create one function here with the name handle input change, and we will provide the input of type string to this function. We need to use if else condition, and here let's create one more state with the name is error. So if the user has input the right hex color code, then we will update that color into our color picker. And if the hex code is not correct, then we will show the error in that text field. Here in this is error state, let's use false by default. And we need to put if condition if this input length is equal to 6, because hex color needs to be of 6 digit, and that hex color code input should also consist of particular characters. So for that, in the last, let's create one more private function on this character class with the name is hex digit, and this function will return us this boolean value, and we will check whether this character is in the range of 0 to 9, because hex color value can only be provided from that 0 to 9 and then A to F, because it's a 16 digit base hexadecimal, or this value can be in the list of character A to F. And user can also put these characters in small letters. And this is how we are going to check whether these characters are of this particular nature. Use these input with all function, and this all function will check if each digit has this hex digit or not. And if both these conditions are true, then first thing what we need is make this is error value to false. Otherwise this is error value will be true. And we also need to take out the color from that hex code. And on this text, let's use too long with 16 digit. and we need to update our color from that picker with the help of this controller and select by color, and the color will be this. And from user value, let's use this true because this color is selected by the user. And scroll down, and if user is selecting the color from this picker, then also we will make this is error value to false, because in that case the hex code will be correct all the time. And here on this outline text field, we need to update our hex input, but also we will use our function here. So on every input, this function needs to be called. And here we have this parameter is error and attach our is error value. So this is error. If we provide the true, then this will make our text field red. And use the supporting text also to notify user that they need to enter the correct hex code. Use this if is error, then we need to notify invalid hex code, and else blank string. And now we can run our app again because we have provided all the things to our dialog. Here is the app, open it again, and the dialog will be open on this. And now we can see our dialog doesn't have that much width, and if I make it smaller, then this dialog can shrink its width, but it cannot go maximum to that width we provided. And here if I select any different color, we can see our text field hex code is also changing, and that selected color box is also changing that particular color. And here this is how we can take the different shades of particular color. And here if I provide any hex value to this text field, let's use white color. It has selected the white color. And if I use any different character which cannot be used for hex value, then this will show this text field in the red color with invalid hex code. And also this input needs to be of 6 digit. And if the text field in this error stage, and if user select any particular color, then text field will be updated with that color hex code. And this is how our color picker dialog will work. Next thing, we need to open our color picker dialog not by clicking on these redo and undo button, but on these color picker dialog buttons we have in our command palette. So let's close this now. Minimize this also. Now we can close our color selection dialog and also our preview window. Hey everyone, if you are finding this tutorial helpful, you will love my premium Udemy course where we will build Measuremate, a fitness app using Jetpack Compose. We go in depth on the Firebase authentication, Firestore, and more. Check out the course in the description and take your skills to the next level. See you there. First thing, we need to go to our command palette and here scroll down to the bottom. In the last we have this slider section, and this slider section we are using for two things. First for this stroke width and next for this opacity. So this opacity slider section is correct, but let's also rename this stroke width slider sections values. First thing, let's rename this stroke slider value to stroke width slider value. And also this on value change to on stroke width slider value change, and scroll up, and here we also need to update, and scroll up here also. and scroll down in our command palette content. Now we have specified these things correctly. Scroll up, and here instead of this background word, let's use fill word, that is more appropriate. Fill. Also this background color to simply fill color. And also change this parameter name to simply is fill color. You always need to use shift F6, so that will also update all the references of that particular name. And scroll up and copy these three parameters, and in place of these three, let's use these and replace like this, and copy this part, use in our drawer content also. Now scroll down again to command palette content, and here for opening that color picker dialog, we have these three clicks. This color palette click for this canvas color, and one for this stroke colors, and one for this fill colors. So here whenever user will click any of these three on clicks, a color selection dialog should open. So here what we can do, we can create a single parameter for all these three clicks, and from that single parameter we can handle that opening of that dialog. But we need to differentiate whether the user has selected this canvas color section color palette icon or the stroke color section color palette icon. So for that what we can do, in our domain package, in this model package, create one enum class with the name color palette type, and our color palette can be of three types: stroke, fill, and canvas. And go back to our command palette and create one more parameter with the name on color palette icon click. And here we will pass our color palette type whenever user will click any of these on click. First let's attach this on color palette icon click, and here we need to pass our color palette type dot canvas, and copy this and use it here. And this needs to be stroke, and this let's use fill. And this is how we will handle all these on clicks with a single parameter, and we need to provide these parameters here. What we can do, let's just copy this parameter from here and add one more to both these and attach it here. And now this on click we need to handle in our screen. Let's open whiteboard screen, and first thing we need to update our parameters with the name fill color and selected fill color, and this needs to be on fill color change. And we need to add one more parameter with the name on color palette icon click. And same thing let's do to our drawer content. Next thing we need to add one more state where we will keep the selected color palette type. So let's open our state, and here first thing let's add one more state with the name selected color palette type. And by default let's use our color palette type stroke. And also rename this state background color to simply fill color. And go back to our screen. And for handling these on color palette icon click, let's create one more event in our whiteboard event class. Data class on color palette icon click. And we will pass the color palette type. And let's also change this event to fill color change. And attach our event in our screen here. And we will pass the color palette type whatever we are receiving from that command palette content and use it here also. And this event we will handle in our view model. So go to our whiteboard view model and we need to create one more event in our on event function. And whenever user will click on this color palette icons, we need to open our dialog. So for dialog, let's create one state with the name is color selection dialog open. And this value initially will be false, and whenever user will click this color palette icon, we need to update our state. And we need to update two things. First, this is color selection dialog open to true, and next thing this selected color palette type to whatever we have received from our event. And this dialog will be closed whenever user will click that dismiss button. So go to our screen and scroll up, and here we have this on dismiss event. So again we need to create one more event and create one more event with the name on color selection dialog dismiss. And this event we can attach to our on dismiss. And rename this back to simply color selection dialog dismiss. And this state we will get from our state class and we can delete from here. And we were using that in our undo icon click, so for now just delete from here. And when user will click on this on dismiss, we will pass this color selection dialog dismiss event, and this event needs to be handled in our view model. So create one more branch on this when block, and here just need to update our is selection dialog value to false. And last thing we need to handle whenever user will select the color. So for this on click again, let's create one more event in our event class, duplicate it and use this on color selected, and we will get the color and attach our event in our screen and pass the color whatever we are getting from our dialog. And this event needs to be handled in our view model. So again create one more branch with whiteboard event dot on color selected. And here let's use our when block and use our state to get the selected color palette type and press alt enter, add remaining branches. We will handle differently on our different color palette type. Let's copy this state and use it here. So when our selected color palette type will be canvas, then we need to update our canvas color to whatever color we are getting. And let's create two more values let's here, so we can use simply straight here and also color. So again we can simply use color here and copy this, and when the color palette type will be stroke, we need to update our stroke color to whatever color we have, and for fill we need to update the fill color. So here when user will update these stroke and fill color, then these two colors will be affected to that next path user will draw. But when user will select the canvas color, then we also need to update our whiteboard. So we need to call our upsert whiteboard function only on this canvas branch and go to our upsert whiteboard function. Here instead of using this whiteboard ID, we need to use our updated whiteboard ID. And this is how our colors will be updated through that color selection dialog, and we can run our app. And here is our desktop app. Let's open it, and if I select any these colors, then the canvas color will be updated. But if I click on this palette icon, then our dialog should open. And if I select this green color and press this select button, and here our green color has been selected. So this time let's change the color of stroke. Initially let's use this blue color, and next change this red color, and now red color will be drawn. And let's also see the functionality of that fill color. And this is how we can select multiple colors with the help of that color selection dialog. And one last thing I need to update is, let's minimize this and this also. First close all these files and go to our domain package and model and this drawn path. And here instead of this background color, let's also rename this back to fill color. And also update this value to our room entity, this background color to fill color. And with this changing from background color to fill color, we also need to update our database version. So go to our app database and update this version to simply 6. Let's also update this local package name, this all directory, to database because this will look more good. Do refactor. Now let me also run the Android app. And here is our Android app. Create new whiteboard and first select the color from these colors. And if I click on this color palette icon, our dialog has opened. We can select the color. And here it has updated the canvas color. And we can see all the functionality is working as we expected. So this is all for this video. In the next video, what we are going to do, whenever user will select any of the new color, then we also need to update this default list to the last 4 colors users has selected. For that thing, we will use preference data store. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section, and you can also comment what other functionality you want to see in the app. And if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe the channel, and thanks for watching.